A very good morning, my dear students. It's indeed my proud privilege and honor to stand among you today and welcome each one of you to this wonderful community of DCRUSTians. Down the memory lane, I do remember that day when I was in your seat almost 38 years ago, in a time when there was no e-world. You are sitting there in a virtual e-world today, feeling a million different emotions and asking yourself a million different questions. Did I make the right choice? Is this worth to be here? And maybe many more similar questions must be coming to your mind at this moment. But I can tell you, my dear friends, absolutely, your decision was perfect. Your admission here is not the gift of COVID pandemic. Don't think that way. In fact, I can assure each and every one of you that you're here because you deserve to be here today. And because you can bring something new and exciting to this diverse learning community. So, my beloved children, you're most welcome to the wonderful campus of Deenbandhu Choturam University of Science and Technology. I want to tell you another point. Many of you must have tried to get into other institutions like IITs, NITs, and maybe similar institutions. And now you are here. One point what I want to tell you is there is not much difference between where you have enrolled. It is you are going to make the difference. Whatever subject you are taken, whichever field you are going to pursue a career in your life is fully dependent on you. Because it's all up to the kind of affection and love what you are going to do to the subject that the subject will give you back in return. Even I want to tell the parents who are listening me today, maybe many of your acquaintance may tell you, like, why did you put him or her in that particular branch? You could have sent him or sent her to that and this. All these has no meaning, my dear friends. Every branch is equally good or equally bad. It is up to the student has to decide how he want to change it. I take this occasion to share 4 small stories with these beloved budding engineers. I was born in a very remote village, almost 2,600 or 700 kilometers away from here, in extreme south in a state called Kerala. And my school was almost, I'm talking about my primary school, which was almost 1.5 to 2 kilometers away from my home. So every day from first standard onwards, we had to walk up and down the whole distance. And since most of the villages have a life connected to a temple, I was also born and brought up in such a locality and situation. So my life was more connected to a temple. Early morning we have to get up, take bath in the river, go to temple and do your job and come back and then go to school. So almost all of us from the village. We were walking to school barefoot. I mean, we didn't have a slipper or a shoes or any kind of footwear, because those days we never thought that it is a requirement, because to the temple you cannot use a slipper or a shoes. You have to get in with a barefoot. So the same thing you are accustomed with, and you find it more comfortable while walking with a barefoot. And when I graduated from my fourth standard to fifth standard, I moved to a high school nearby. And that time my father decided to present me a pair of slippers. And the funniest part is, early days, my uh, my body was not, or my uh, feet was not accepting that slipper as a foreign body. It took a couple of days to adjust with my feet. This is the case with most of us. I'm not telling it as my own story. Then the high school was almost 5 kilometers, so we had to walk up and down 5 by 5, almost 10 kilometers. And this was a routine habit. Probably that helped us to make our feet much more stronger, and even today we can walk a lot, there is no issue. And then the first story what I want to tell you is regarding the language. Since we are all from the villages, I know many of my students who have taken up admission here must also be from some neighboring villages. We do all our studies in the local language, in the mother tongue. And by the time when you move to a study like engineering, all the subjects are dealt in English. My first difficulty was this, because English was just Greek and Latin to me. I was not able to understand. Slowly we picked up technical terms. It is difficult, but still put all the effort and learned. But in my final year, still I remember in the campus recruitment, when Times of India came for campus, and they gave 3 subjects for group discussion. One head, one vote policy deteriorated the quality of Indian democracy. Necessity of drafting agricultural graduates in India. Long-term planning is irrelevant in the dynamic growth of modern technology. So my group decided to ponder upon a subject called long-term planning. And they were interested to talk about long-term planning is irrelevant. But I want to say long-term planning is relevant. But my major issue was my language. I was not able to communicate properly. I was more like a spectator looking on both sides to the group. The group discussion was taken by Professor Yashpalji, who became the chairman of UGC later. He came to me and asked, "What happened to you? Why you are keeping quiet?" I told him, I was in the verge of crying almost. I told him, "Sir, I come from a village and I'm not able to speak in English like what others are doing." Looking at my face, he had a sympathy. He asked me only one thing: "Are you confident about your mother tongue?" I told, "Yes, sir." "Can you communicate well in your mother tongue?" "Yes, sir." And my mother tongue is Malayalam, which is a very tough language. By chance, if some of the listeners who have any connection to that part of the world or any pedigree from that side must be knowing, it's a very tough language. So he told, if you are good in your mother tongue, you can also learn any number of languages. I touched his feet, took his blessings and told, "Sir, I'll put all my effort to see that I'll improve my communications in the coming time." So he gave me a target of 3 years' time, and I accepted it. And and I put all my effort. And by 3 years' time, I was able to communicate properly at least. And that journey still continues. This is my first story which I want to tell you, which must be true with many of you. So don't worry about a language. Language is just a language to communicate your idea. That has nothing to do with the knowledge, or that has nothing to do with any greatness. And when you speak a language, let it be English, Latin, German, or anything, naturally there could be a possibility of a touch of the mother tongue in the pronunciation. You can't help it because that is what is your mother tongue. Okay, you can improve, you can do better, it's a different thing. But you don't need to be more worried about it. You must communicate properly, and the clarity in your presentation must be good. That's all. You don't need to pronounce or speak like a Brit or an American because that is their mother tongue. Suppose when you speak, if there is a slight tongue of Haryanvi or a Punjabi, nothing wrong in that because you have to be proud of it. I am proud of that. If there is a slight tongue of mine coming from Malayalam, no issue because it's my mother tongue. Otherwise, I'll be rejecting my own mother, which you can't do. Then the second story, what I want to tell you is about the branch what I opted in my engineering. I decided to take up my undergraduate studies in a branch called printing engineering. And when I decided to opt this particular branch, including my father, my family members were against me because they thought, what is there to study in a branch like printing? They thought that I am a lazy guy and I am not interested in studies. But when I did my undergraduate studies, BTech, then MTech and PhDs, I did an international postgraduate diploma in printing and packaging in Germany and many studies in printing. I could be first in many occasions when it comes to printing because there were not much people who have taken up this branch as a choice. And today, if you ask me, whatever I have become today is only because that I studied printing. So what branch you have opted in life is not important. It is immaterial. It is you have to make a difference. The very same printing engineering gave me an opportunity to travel around the globe, more than 50 countries, and maybe roughly 77 universities. All this happened because of this branch of study. And even from the academic field, if you look, to become the vice chancellor of a university is the biggest dream of any academician, that too in a government university reputed like ours. And I am doing it in my second tenure now. Recently, government has given me an extension and I'm doing my second tenure. So what else you want? So this is my second story. Now the third story, what I want to tell you is, like many of you, many of these young boys who have just enrolled in our university for undergraduate studies, all of us had a big dream like you in our school days to become a sub-inspector, because the attire of a sub-inspector and the style and the villagers, the kind of respect they gave to such a position, normally all the boys in our age in schools will get fascinated towards such a job. So my dream was also to become a SHO or a sub-inspector in a local police station. And later, when we grew further, our admiration towards army people started. So then the dream changed from a sub-inspector to an army officer. I'm sure many of you also must be having similar thinking in your mind. So I also tried my uh, uh, level best on those days to get into an army selection once, and I passed the written examinations. And end of the program, when the uh, color blindness test came, they usually do it with an Ishihara test. It's a color palette book in which, with the different color patterns, you have to read the numbers. And by the time I reached the last pages of the book, I was not able to differentiate the numbers. And I realized I am colorblind. And just because of that reason, I got rejected out of selection. And I was so sad that day because color blindness is not my problem. It's not my fault. It's a genetical issue because the X chromosome, what we get, I'm talking about male boys, we have an XY chromosome and girls have an XX chromosome. So X chromosome is responsible for color perception. So if that X chromosome, what I inherited, is defective, then I am not able to differentiate certain colors. And anyway, to cut the long story short, I got rejected that time. I was so sad. And you may think why I am mentioning such a story today. Few months ago, exactly speaking in the month of Feb, around February 22nd and in March 2020, the month of March 2020, Government of India conferred an honorary colonel to me and also appointed as the colonel commandant for the National Cadet Corps of Haryana, Punjab, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh, this region. You just tell me what else I want. At one point of time, I was rejected to get into army, and the very same army gave me an honorary title of the colonel. What I want to tell you from all these is there is nothing a loss in life. You may feel something you lost, but nothing. If you have that deep passion and if you can go behind it, you can get it. Those who have read that book of Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, it talks about it. When you really want to aim with a deep passion for something, all the constellations will come and arrange or set in such a way that it just happens. How it happens, we have no explanation, but it will happen, and it happened in my life too. I'm not trying to market myself or sell myself, but I just shared actual real story of a villager like me. And if a simple average family villager like me could do this much, you people can do much wonders because you are much more intelligent than any one of us. And you are so good in understanding that digital equipment, that noise making instrument, that family troubling instrument through which you are watching me and listening me now. You are the best in using such gadgets, and the whole world is near you in what single touch. The whole world is with you. So information is ubiquitous in today's world. You have all kinds of information with you and you know how to use it. So it's only your passion, the fire in your belly, that is going to decide where you are going to reach it. So to my friends who are listening me, what I want to tell you is this. Number one, don't worry and bother anything about the branch which you have chosen today. So many people will tell so many things, just forget it. Fall in love with that subject which you have chosen. And number two, don't worry about your language. Few of them may be very good in communicating in English and some other languages. You don't need to worry about it because, again, I am repeating, language is not the measurement of knowledge, it's only a medium to communicate. This is number two. And number three, you focus on what you want to do. 100% you can achieve that because each one of you are very, very unique. That is why you are born in this planet Earth and you are very different. You are very capable. So nobody can replace you. So you don't need to compare with anybody else other than you. You compare only with yourself. and future will be with you. There is no doubt about it. And now what I want to tell you on the other part is about where the world is going today. Of course, we are suffering from this pandemic world, COVID-19. We are we have almost passed quite good time now, and we know how to deal with that. So we all have to mentally prepare to move through such a tough time some more, a couple of months more. Physically, you are not able to visit this beautiful campus. Don't worry. We also don't have any life without you, but we have no other option. That's why I'm communicating to you in this way. And within a couple of months, you will be able to visit the campus and enjoy this. This is one of the best campuses, physical infrastructure, what you have in the near places of Delhi. There is no doubt. So without you, we have no life in the campus. So more than what you miss, we are missing you. We are waiting for that day in which you all will come here. Otherwise, my dear friends, this day would have been like an utsav, because you will be moving around a bustling place, lot of things happening, chit-chatting, enjoying, parents meeting each other, exchanging with, meeting teachers. It's like a wonderful time, but we miss all those buzz now because of this. But nevertheless, there is a medium like this through which I could talk to you, I could communicate you. So this is the digital disruption, what is happening now. One way it is an advantage because it's an option or opportunity for all of us to move to the next level. Whether we like it or not, it is going to happen, and it will happen. And we know that this artificial intelligence and big data, digital twin, virtual services, augmented reality, virtual reality, all these are going to happen. And this is going to change the world in the coming time. The whole customers will be connected, Internet of Things, and the whole economy is moving to a platform, what we call it as a platform economy and digital business mode. Everything is moving to digital mode. All these changes are happening in the coming time. So we have to prepare very well. And an interdisciplinary study will help you to become much more stronger. So you have to be ready for a change and every time keep on updating yourself. There is no other go. Even I can't suggest now what you should do after 4 years, because 4 years is a long time. By the time lot of technologies will change, lot of things will happen. So you have to prepare your mind to make a real change so that you can conquer the world. And again, coming back to this university, this is one of the refined best universities because we have been already accredited by TCS as an A-class institution. So our students are paid more salaries. The highest salaries by TCS. And on an average, 127 kind of students are recruited every year. And like that, there are many other companies. And when I look at my alumni, I can tell you we have the best alumni in all segments. For an example, the current year of UPSC for the civil service examination, the country's topper was our student. He's from here only. So it's not just IAS, it is in IPS and industry CEOs and even employees who are working in government and in private companies. There are a lot of top officials who have passed out from our institute. So they all will be there to help you in the coming time. This is another advantage with the Choturam University of Science and Technology. Now, my dear friends, just before concluding, let me offer you some very simple advice for how to make the best of your experience here. Number one, share your knowledge and skills. Don't keep them to yourself. Challenge yourself and your peers on a daily basis. Peers in the sense both parents and teachers. Doesn't mean that I'm giving you a license to trouble them. Never ever trouble them. But you must challenge yourself and all the peers. That's a way you can grow and learn. And I'm telling you in advance, don't trouble anybody. It is very clear. Then, at the same time, amicably move with your friends. Support one another's passion for education and overall development of the entire society, community, family, country, and develop some best practices that others can emulate and benchmark and absorb everything that can add value in life. And uh, all should have enough fun here, and you must learn to celebrate your life. It's not just like that. And in the not just here, you must celebrate your life in your family, in your department, and in the whole world. And before concluding, I wish you a very safe time ahead. And one thing we have to understand now, uh, it's the time to embrace digital, because virtual is the real now. That's the new normal. We have to accept it. So try to make the best use of it and grow in your life. We are here to guide you. And the parents who are listening me today, I tell you, you are all the blessed ones. That is why your wards could get into a university like ours. You are also most welcome. Whenever you are free and whenever you feel, just walk in, not just to the department. You can meet the deans, you can meet anybody you want, and my office is always open for you. Just send an information before and come here. We are here to serve you, in fact, and to guide your children. And till this age, you have uh, guided them and brought them into this level. And now I believe it is our responsibility to see that they will be molded in the right fashion. And I guarantee each one of you that I will give you back them as a useful son or a useful daughter or useful brother or useful sister. This is what our guarantee. It is not just that we will give them a degree with a distinction, which I can't say, which they have to earn. But one thing I can guarantee you, that in this campus, we will focus a lot in their character and their human nature. So we will try to add all these values in them, whatever you have already given to them. With that note, let me conclude and thank and wish each one of you a wonderful time ahead and a virus free year ahead. Thank you so much.